So guys, Reggie here, and we are back with another video. So as you see in the title, the secrets to buying blind fragrances and having pretty much no regrets, right? So we're all tired of buying, fragrances blindly that we will regret at some point, right? And I have a few tips on how to pretty much have no regrets when you buy it and you smell it and or of course increase the chances of you liking it you know so number one tip is search for that fragrance notes on the internet and looking for the specific type of category that that fragrance falls into, right? So for example, if you have a fragrance that says like, because there's so many like categories of fragrances. There's like sweet gourmand, sweet fruity, fresh, clean, soapy. There's just so many that you can find. So that's a really good thing to do. Always look for that category and always search for the fragrance notes. If it has a note that you don't like, for example, there's a lot of people that don't like oud. There's a lot of people that, avoid those like even those heavy spices, and they can't really tolerate them that much. So yeah, that's a really good thing to do. And another thing which kind of, that follows is remember if in that fragrance that you want to get and that you're interested in, if you have a fragrance in the past or you even currently own it, if both of those share some of those same notes or ingredients, right? So for example, like if you have this fragrance that you own or you previously had and you smell it, you've smelled it so many times, and if it has like vanilla, honey, lavender, I don't know, like mint or black pepper, right? And if this one has those same notes as well, you'll pretty much get an idea of like what it's gonna smell like. But of course, depending on the brand and stuff like that, they do end up smelling a bit different. Think of it of like pizza, right? There's like pizza, and there's so many like fast food restaurants of pizza, like Little Caesars, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Domino's and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it's pizza, yeah, but they all taste differently. So take that, analogy in a very similar way, right? And one thing that I do not recommend you doing, and it's a big, huge red flag, is if you're like curious and like you really want to smell it and you can't even wait till like tomorrow or the next day or a week to buy it or to order it online, whatever it is. I do not recommend you going to like retailers, especially Macy's, because the sellers there, they're like super persistent, and there's like so many fragrances that you can smell like at Macy's and stuff like that. And you might be saying, well, Reggie, how is that a bad thing? Well, it's actually a bad thing, especially because if you do not have a lot of experience in the fragrance like community, like industry or whatever, um they're gonna have you smell this fragrance, and then they're gonna have you smell this one and then this one and then that one, and by the third fragrance that you smell, most likely after that, they're all gonna smell the same to you. And this has happened to so many people that I've gone with, like even like my siblings and stuff like that. I literally be spraying fragrances like all over my arms and stuff like that. I hardly even use the tester strips, even though they're actually good, but they always do smell very different than on skin. So that's another thing. Do not spray the fragrance on, do not go based off on how it smells on the paper. Always have it on skin because it always gives it a different smell. So that's another little tip. And just to kind of reel it back in with what I was saying is, by the fourth or fifth fragrance, they're all going to smell the same, and you're not really going to know what to do. And then you're going to deal with a lot of pressure of yourself, and especially the very persistent the salesperson. They're just really going to want to grab that, um that fragrance and like literally shove it down your throat, and so that they really want you to get it because they want to get that commission. So it's a very kind of it's a thing that reminds me of of these fragrance reviewers, influencers, that everything's a 10 out of 10, buy it. You know, that's what pretty much they do. And like I said, that's a really good tip that I give. And as a matter of fact, little little funny story that happened to me was, we went to the mall and I just wanted to smell fragrances, right? I just wanted to smell a lot of fragrances because I can handle smelling like around maybe like between 25 to 50 fragrances, and then like I'll kind of have enough. So yeah, and I ended up going with my siblings, and we were just like smelling some fragrances, and I remember it was the Carolina Herrera, the Bad Boy Elixir, and I was just like smelling it, and then this lady just pops up out of nowhere with the Gucci, like it looks like the Gucci Guilty one, but it's like black in the bottom. There's like the top of it's like green. I forget the name of that one, but if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And it smells really good. And it smelled really good. And she was telling me like, "Oh my God, you get it, you're young, you're this and that, you're gonna smell really good." And she would just like, you know, sweet talking me so that I would change my whole way of thinking. But like I've already dealt with that so many times, so it's like it doesn't work on me. You know, it might work on other people, but to me, like on me, like it doesn't really work. And like I just really found it to be very funny because she was being so persistent, and it got to the point where we were just ignoring her. And then some people were smelling, she saw other people smelling fragrances, and then she probably got an idea like, yeah, I'm not gonna have this guy you know, fold. So she went on to them, and then we took that time to smell another fragrance. And ever since then, like we didn't really see her until like we were heading down the to the first floor in the electric stairs. And I kid you not, she like 2 minutes after that, she found us like in the woman's side of the in the bottom floor of the fragrances, because I was, like I said, I was with my siblings. And Jesus, like she was just so persistent. She was looking for us, like she was literally haunting. I bet she went all around the top floor just looking for us. And like I said, they are that persistent. They are very persistent, and you know, they will most likely force you to, convince you, sweet talk you to buy the fragrance, like I said. And that is a really big red flag. And like I said, I don't recommend you doing that. What I do recommend instead, if you can, is look for some sort of decants, some samples, get those. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I guess you could say it's kind of annoying on doing that, and just why spend on like little things. But hey, if it's a fragrance that you're really curious, you know, you can just spend $10 on that or something, and you'll know for sure if it's the fragrance that you really want. So like I said, it's a really good, you know, thing to know, and it'll prevent you from buying a fragrance that you end up regretting. So, you know, that was pretty much it. If I forget something, like I said, always add it on my, you know, description. But yeah, it's been Reggie, guys, and my scent of the day is Versace Mano Fresh. It's a very hot day, fresh, you know, citrusy, clean, crisp fragrance. It gets you compliments. It's really good. This is actually like my third bottle already. But yeah, it's been Reggie, guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.